Hello, family. It's another wonderful moment with PJ Speak from the Ruach UL studio. We are bringing you a timeline of information that you need to hear. Today, we are looking at on the platform of Believers Community. If you know you are a child of God, it's time to get close to your phone. It's time to get close to that media. Your YouTube needs to be on by now. It's time to click the share button. It's time to make a comment. It's time to like. Because what is about to hit you, it's a transformational line. There's a process of time where God begins to give you information for you to build up your spirit, so that your spirit man can be sensitive enough to pick the deep things about God. Remember, there is a spirit in God, but the inspiration of the Holy Spirit gives him understanding, and that understanding is what I am bringing to you today. The Bible said in the book of Hosea, it said, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." In the absence of knowledge, there must be misinterpretation. I am bringing this to you this moment for you to understand that what you have been making as decisions has actually been wrong. I am only called to tell you this evening that, do you know that your consequences versus your decision is a very critical study that you have not done? I know many of us make decisions. In fact, for you to be live on air right now is a decision. For you to have connected with the Ruach UL studio is a decision. Can I let you know that you can go against that thought? You can go against that line of pattern. It is not a force for you to make a decision. Decision and choices, they are always there for you to make. For you to be alive today was your personal decision. If you go and take a bottle of an acid, you have decided to stop living. And that is what we call suicide. I am bringing you this evening a very important topic you don't want to joke with, that I have captioned by the help of the Spirit. Consequences above decision. Consequences above decision. The moment they told you that you live with your decision, they lied to you. That's wrong. No. You don't live with your decision, child of God. Yes, you make decisions. But whomever that have told you that you live with the decisions you have made is wrong. Because within a split of seconds, maximally minutes, decisions are made. And the moment you make those decisions, majority of the time, you cannot reverse the decision. They are made. If you happen to make a mistake in the decision making, you must agree with me. You cannot reverse the decisions. Somebody might say, I might change my mind and make another decision. Well, there has been a damage before the deliverance. Child of God, you need to understand that you can be delivered but damaged. You need to understand critically that you can be delivered from that impossible situation, but it's been damaged. I need you to think about this. There are things that you lose, you can never regain them again. Those were not decisions, they were something else. Because what you actually live with is your consequences, not the decisions. That thing you are experiencing is not your decision, it's the consequences of your decision. Do I need to let you know that just by one event, a decision has been made, but the consequences of the decision can live for the next 100 years. I want to tell you what a consequence is. From my own literal terms, consequences means come and see my senses. The decision is gone, but the consequences lives on. Come and see my senses. So when we come around you, what we see is not your decisions. What we see is the consequences. And from the consequences, we can now begin to tell whether the decisions were wrong or right. We've been taught several times how to make decisions, how to make choices, steps and steps to take to making decisions. Steps and steps to be taken for you to get the right choices. Meanwhile, I need to bring to your understanding that there are 3 key decisions you are going to make in life. The consequences of those decisions will determine the rest of your life. Number 1, you need to understand that the first decision you are going to make is the church you are going to attend. I know that most of you have not seen how important it is. But I need you to understand that the first right decision that will ever face you is the church you attend. Why? Because you are going to submit your mind to be set. That's why they call it mindset. You are going to submit your psychology, your philosophy, your belief system. No. Child of God, don't tell me that you can set that by yourself. No. We are a product of what we hear, what we see, and where we stay. You need to understand critically that the church you decide to attend is very vital to your destiny. Number 2, who you will marry. The consequences of the celebration called the holy matrimony will determine 70 to 80% of your life outcome. Child of God, before you make the decision of whom to marry, I have a news for you. There is a research work that you need to attend. That is a field work you must go. If you don't go for that field work, I can bet on it, you're coming back with regrets. There is a literature review that you need to conduct. The decision to marry her, the decision to marry him, must be strictly conducted. But there is something far more bigger than that. Number 3, the friends you are going to keep. You cannot change the family you come from. You cannot decide the family you are going to come to. But you can decide the family you are going to. I need to say that again to you. You might not be able to decide the family that you came from, but you can decide the family you are going to. And so the friends you are going to keep, the cycle around you, they have a strong, unbreakable, effective power on your life. And so what do? Before you make the decision, you need to go and study the consequences. Child of God, forget about the decision. Go beyond it. Study the consequences of the decision. That you fell down from a study building intentionally and you broke your ribs, it was not your decision that caused it. It was lack of the understanding of the consequences of your decision. Many people make decisions, but they've never sat down to study the consequences of the decision. Saying yes or no, I am in or out. Here we go. Very good. But do you understand the consequences? Because a man that takes risk is a man who does not understand the consequences of his decision. You need to study that. The environment of consequences is the best teacher. Check alternative decisions. Look at the what ifs. They are there to help you. What if I do it this way? What if I do it that way? Never allow anyone to push you into making hasty decisions. Child of God, you have to take your time. Because once you make that decision, there is something you cannot change, is the consequences. You can change decisions, but you can't change consequences. And so, the consequences will become the reality checkpoint for you to make the right decisions. The custom duties are there for you to checkmate yourself on the things you carry. Without the study of consequences, offenses are not far. A man who lives on the study of consequences is a man who is always going to take the right decisions. Before you accept that job, you need to understand what you are accepting. Yes, the job is juicy, the money is high, it's a big paycheck for you. But what am I going to lose in accepting the job? I need you to understand that for every yes, there are no's that you have said. I need you to understand that for every commitment that you make to anything in life, you have decided to be uncommitted in other things. And you need to verify. There needs to be a verification procedure that is going to help you to make sure you are voting for the right decision. Child of God, that your thumbprint is powerful. Because the moment you thumbprint, your vote moves straight to the counting center. You cannot affect the counting center, but you can affect the voting process, which affects the counting center. I need you to write those decisions you're about to make. Don't ask yourself whether they are right or wrong. Outline the consequences of each of those decisions, and then they become a pathway to show you whether you're in the right line or not. I'll just bring this thing last to you before we go. Adam never considered the consequences, and he made a decision. Had it been he sat down and said, I need to discuss this with my boss. My boss knows why he asked me not to eat of the fruit. And then when he discussed with the father, his boss, his friend would have opened his eyes and he would have seen the consequences. The only reason Jesus came was because he has understood the consequences of sin. That the sin has the ability to create death. And that was why the Bible said, in him was life, and the life became the light of men. Child of God, sit back and think about the consequences before you make that decision. And if you do, you will be on the pathway to a personal transformation. Everything around you will begin to shift in alignment to who you have become. Because the new you is the man that considered consequences ahead of his decisions. I love you so much. Once again, hit the share button, hit the comment section, hit the like. Let's keep spreading. Someone might be in need of this word, and it is in your hands, because great is the company of them that publishes it. I love you so much, and I remain your humble servant, Prophet Joel Atomo.